Hey, Keith here for Am I Rich, and today we're doing 3 stocks they watched for the month of August. That's right, YouTubers picks from August 2018 until now, see of how they've done. It's their picks from August and see how they've done until now. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, but now let's get to it. This was a really good pick. A lot of people did really well. And these are just the top 5 really that I could find. But there's a lot more out there. If you find better YouTubers out there that are doing 3 stocks they watch, let me know. That would be great. But yeah, let's get into it a little bit. Now, on the list, last month's champion, JKR from JKR Investing. I always pick last month's winner to put it on the list. And then we have, the other ones that are really good. If they're not good, then they're probably not on the list. I mean, if they did okay, but they're not the top 5 or so, then they're probably not on the list. So next we have a newcomer, Peatland, and then followed by that another newcomer, Antonio from Baby, Becoming a Better You. And then we have PI, Positive Investing. That's Nick from Positive Investing. He's been on this list a few times. And then another newcomer, FBS, Find Better Stocks, which I think is a great channel name, yeah. So, and if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you, the individual stocks that were probably the best, and also I'll discuss how Jeremy from Financial Education did. So, stick around for that. So let's get into it. The first time slot that we have here was 1 week. So after 1 week, if you had put money into these stocks, starting August 1st of 2018, how would they have done? Well, if you did follow Peatland, his picks went up 9.5% after the first week. 9.5%, that's crazy. His picks were Energy Fuels, ticker symbol UUUU. That's right, lots of U's. Basically the Cameco of the United States. Not nearly as good, but it's big. In the United States, they might, have some kind of government or nationwide interest in keeping them going. Then you have, the next one is Western Uranium and Vanadium Company, ticker symbol WSTRF. That's the next one that Peatland had. And then he had GVXXF, which is GoviX Uranium Inc. So these picks really popped off the first week of August, so good for you. Moving along, after 1 month, now this is actually the real champion of the month for August. I think it's pretty hard to pick the actual month, but if you can, great. Peatland, 31.4%. 31.4% is far better. I mean, 9.5% was better than the S&P for the whole year. 31.4%, amazing after 1 month. I'd love to have that every month. Then we move on. Peatland still killing it after 1 quarter. Now, I usually put quarter on here because, companies report typically after a quarter, and you kind of get a sense of how the company's doing every quarter. So I think this is a reasonable kind of telling time or pivot point for a lot of companies. And Peatland, 73.6%. That is hard to beat. Almost doubled my money, in 3 months. So very, very nice. Followed by Positive Investing. Nick from Positive Investing had 8.1, which is respectable. I mean, that's better than the S&P for the year. His picks were Red Hat, Constellation Brands, and Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO. Yeah, 8.1%, not too bad either. So, but very far from 73.6%. But then that was November, and in December, if you remember in 2018, there was a huge crash, and things really got shaken up there, and there's no exception with the uraniums. So let's go into the 6-month results. 6-month results, yeah, we have a new person at top, that's Baby. So Antonio from Baby Investing, his picks were Starbucks, IQ, and Aurora Cannabis. He was up at 11%, followed by Nick from Positive Investing. And then third was Peatland, kind of falling back. And then if we go right to the end and get rid of that awesome display blocker, we have JKR Investing. He jumped up to 28.0%. His picks were Facebook, Microsoft, and PayPal. So, you know, in November was the first quarter, then you had the big drop into February and then back up. Things kind of popped up to February, so the whole drop into December kind of corrected in January. But to have those stocks, you know, everybody was above 20% except for Peatland. But he is picking, you know, kind of uranium stocks, which can be very risky. So it's not too shocking, I guess, for me. Also, if you didn't notice, I didn't even mention this, but this dashed line here is the S&P. So anybody above that beat the S&P, anybody below that was below it, the S&P. But if you look, the S&P was only 7.6 at the end of the year, and you know we have 4 of these investors were above 20%, which was amazing. But yeah, just to go back to JKR, Facebook, Microsoft, PayPal, I mean, he kind of sticks in a range of 10 or so stocks that he really follows, and then just keeps picking the best one for those months, which seems very good. He's very stable. His picks have been very good. So feel free to check out his channel. The links for everybody's channels will be in the description below, and their picks as well. You know, feel free to check them out, of course, after you subscribe to my channel. But a side story about JKR, he actually sold all of his stocks in November of 2018, just before the crash. So I don't know if it's just luck, it probably was, but very interesting. He's a very good investor already, and just the fact that he missed that whole dip and then was able to get back in, you know, when everything was bottoming out near January. Very amazing. So yeah, other than that, the only one we didn't talk about, which is on this list, is FBS, so Find Better Stocks. They had GNTX, LRCX, I think it's Lam Research, and then SAFM, Sandy Farms. Great picks, all of them, you know, 19%, 13%, 30% gains, very respectable. So you could basically go through any of those and say, you know, pretty good. But yeah. Now, as far as the best stocks go, I know you're probably curious about that. The best stock for the year was Starbucks, and that one was picked by Antonio Baby. That's up 90.7% to date from the beginning of August last year. And if you're actually looking at the best stock for just the 1 month mark, that one was the Western Uranium and Vanadium Company, which really helped push Peatland up there, those first 3 categories. Actually, after a quarter, it was up over 200%. So you could have, you know, had quite a huge gain if you had followed that advice. But that's just, you know, something to keep in mind. And now, because you've stuck around so long, we'll talk about Jeremy. Woo, that's right. We hear booze in the... No. Anyways, Jeremy, he had 3 picks, Skyworks Solution, eBay, and Goldman Sachs. He was after 1 year at 3.2%. So not great, but you know, his best pick was eBay, which is up 24.9%. Not too bad. Yeah, so thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to leave comments if you want. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video.